What's up, guys? Alex Barutha here from RotoWire, here to talk about the big trades that went down in the NBA recently and what they mean for fantasy basketball. Let's just start with the big one. Luka Doncic trade from the Dallas Mavericks to the LA Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis and Max Christie. Luka heads to LA, where it sounds like he could play soon. He's about to go through 5-on-5 practice, so we might get some Luka Doncic sooner than we thought. It sounds like the Lakers are still pursuing a big man. There could still be more trade deadline moves. Maybe Austin Reeves is involved. They don't have a ton else on the roster to deal. But I think if right now, as it stands, if we're talking fantasy basketball, maybe slight downgrades for LeBron and Doncic, just too high usage guys. Now they have to share the ball. Probably the biggest downgrade to Austin Reeves, who now becomes the clear third option there. I could see his assists, especially, going down. And if they're not able to make a move, the Lakers for a center, I think Jackson Hayes will probably be worth rostering in fantasy. Jared Vanderbilt has looked great defensively so far. Maybe we get a little bit more out of Rui Hachimura. But I think that's how things stand for the Lakers. And then for Dallas, Anthony Davis should be back soon. He's working through an abdominal injury, but is expected to play shortly. It sounds like they're going to start him at power forward. Since before he got traded from LA, that he was asking to play next to another center. The Mavericks have Daniel Gafford as of right now. Derek Lively probably out until almost the playoffs. I think Daniel Gafford is a downgrade, but those two guys are going to be fighting for the rebounds. So Davis could see a slight decrease in his rebounding as well. I think the main thing with AD now, the Mavericks don't have a ton of playmakers, guys to handle the ball, guys to create opportunities for their teammates. It's mostly just Kyrie Irving, and Spencer Dinwiddie has his moments. But I think the Mavs are going to ask AD to score the ball more and pass the ball more. So I could see those parts of his stats increase. It's probably, a pretty neutral move for Anthony Davis overall. But I could certainly see an argument for things trending positively for him. And same goes for Kyrie Irving. No longer has to share the ball with Luka Doncic. Has a new pick and roll partner with Anthony Davis. So I think things look up for him. Dallas also made a smaller move today, Tuesday, when they traded Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin. I don't think that's going to be too fantasy relevant. I think Grimes could have some solid usage in Philly, but nothing really exceeding what he had been doing lately. And then Max Christie, also a part of this trade, going to Dallas. I don't think Christie will start, although who knows? I mean, maybe they'll bring PJ Washington off the bench at the 3. You slide Klay Thompson up. Max Christie's able to start. I don't really anticipate a bump for him. I don't think he's necessarily an ad in fantasy. If you already rostered him because he was a fringe 12 or 14 team player, I think you can just hang on to him and see what happens. But I would not hesitate to drop him if it looks like he's going to see a real usage decrease. The other trade that went down, De'Aaron Fox getting moved from the Kings to the San Antonio Spurs, pairing up with Victor Wembanyama. This is also a massive move. I think that for Fox, this is probably a positive. Playing alongside Victor Wembanyama, I think the team around him is less potent offensively than his teammates in Sacramento. So I think Fox will actually be asked to do a little bit more here in Sacramento in terms of scoring, in terms of playmaking, obviously the lob threat, just the being able to pass to Victor Wembanyama. He should be racking up assists left and right. So I think the move is a positive for De'Aaron Fox. Probably a negative. I mean, it is a negative for Chris Paul. I don't expect the two to start together. I think Chris Paul's minutes will decrease. He'll probably come off the bench. But I would not consider him a drop immediately. Stephon Castle had been playing really well. I could see his usage decrease as well. Devin Vassell, I think he could mostly maintain what he's been doing lately, but maybe asked a little bit less in terms of playmaking, could turn a little bit more into a pure scorer, a three-point shooter. And then on the Kings side, you have Zach LaVine, because the Bulls were also involved in this deal. So the Kings get Zach LaVine in this 3-team deal. And So they're going to start Malik Monk, the Kings are, at point guard. Then you have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. I think this is it is a downgrade, but maybe only slightly for LaVine, because Monk and DeRozan are your main playmakers aside from him. But I actually think LaVine fits really well with this Kings team. They're going to be flying up and down the court. LaVine's coming off dribble handoffs. I think he's going to be in a pretty good spot here. I wouldn't be panicking if I had LaVine in fantasy, thinking he's going to take some big downgrade. He's played with DeMar DeRozan, especially before. And yeah, I don't anticipate a lot of change for many other guys on this Kings team. Sabonis, DeRozan, Monk, who I mentioned. I think they'll all be in about the same place as they were before. So who did the Bulls get in this trade? They got Zach Collins from the Spurs, and they also got Trey Jones from the Spurs, and they got Kevin Huerter from the Kings. I feel like there could be more moves coming from Chicago. This is sort of where we enter speculation territory. They add a big man and Zach Collins, makes Vucevic a little bit more redundant. They also have Jalen Smith. So if the Bulls move off of Vucevic, don't get another big back, I think we could see real fantasy bumps out of Jalen Smith and Zach Collins. Those guys are maybe worth a speculative add. I don't think Trey Jones will be especially fantasy relevant. Kevin Huerter is sort of interesting. I mean, he's kind of had a down couple of seasons. Maybe a fringe option. I'm not necessarily going out and adding Kevin Huerter. I'm definitely interested in Matas Buzelis, who has seen increased run lately, and obviously is, for all intents and purposes, like the future of this franchise is Matas Buzelis and Kobe White too. We'll see what happens with Josh Giddey during the offseason, but so those are the main trades that have actually gone down lately. In terms of what else could happen, there have been rumors the Bucks are shopping around Kyle Kuzma. Either way, Washington has to be looking to dump Kuzma. They have to be looking to get rid of Jonas Valanciunas. They have to be looking to get rid of Malcolm Brogdon. If that happens, I think we see more usage for guys like Bilal Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington. If you're in a really deep league, maybe the Wizards convert guys like Jared Butler and Justin Champagnie from two-way deals to standard deals. We saw Jared Butler and Champagnie obviously look really great at earlier points in the season. There's been rumors about Nick Claxton on the move, Day'Ron Sharpe on the move. Brooklyn's probably going to get involved with this somehow. Cam Johnson is still floating around out there, and other teams at the bottom of the standings. I mean, it's Portland, New Orleans, Utah. All of these teams will be most likely looking to trade their vets. I mean, New Orleans is allegedly trying to trade Brandon Ingram. There's been some interesting rumblings about, Golden State trying to get Jimmy Butler. We also got news on Jimmy Butler that he has informed Miami that he would like to come back and put this incident behind him and just move forward immediately, which is kind of bizarre. I really have no idea what's going to happen with this Miami Heat situation and Jimmy Butler now. But there are a ton of players on these teams at the bottom of the standings where the veterans ahead of them in the rotation are going to get traded. Utah, Bryce Sensabaugh, Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski. Portland, maybe they move Rob Williams and Donovan Clingan becomes an option. These are the kinds of moves that these teams will be trying to make. So if you have some roster moves to make, especially if you're in a deeper league, it would not hurt to try to find a younger player who fits what you need and acquire them.